Welcome to the FiberBase webinar series. This is a fiberoptic.com feature. Just an overview of the November webinars. We had reports last week, and you're able to get that from our website if you'd like to go back and review that. Today we're going to be doing importing structures, and then on November 28th, which is the last Wednesday of the month at 3 o'clock, we'll be having an open session. Prior to the webinar, you can send questions with mailbag and subject line to FiberBase@fiberoptic.com. We're going to do the email questions first, and then any questions that you have that you ask during the session, I'll go ahead and answer those then. For December webinars, which will be coming up next month, I offer you to send suggestions or requests for new topics by November 19th, so that'd be like next Monday, and send them to FiberBase@fiberoptic.com. So again, today we're doing importing structures. I'll kind of review the procedure first, and then we'll go through the live demo of how to do that. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to back up your database. If you're importing a lot of structures, you group something up, you want to be able to go back to a place where you were before you imported the structures. Second thing you're going to want to do is create a CSV file with longitude, latitude, and at least a name in each row. And then you're going to create a mass create shortcut on your desktop. And again, I'm going to go through all these in the live demo. Import the CSV file into the dialog using that mass create shortcut. Then in the dialog, you're going to be able to make any changes as you need. And then the final thing you'll do is you'll create the structures and verify that they're there. When you first create the structures, I'd suggest that you load them into a temporary region the first couple times, just to make sure that you can easily see them, and it's pretty easy to delete them out of that region if you want to, or see all the ones that you've loaded. So with that, let's go take a look at how you do that. So I'm going to assume that the database is already backed up, and here's a list of the structures that I'm going to be importing today. So I've got a name in the first column here, what kind of structure it is, longitude, latitude, the street address, what city it is, what county it's in, its state, its zip code, and then its country. The only thing that you really need to have, or I'd suggest that you have, would be the longitude and latitude and a name. The other ones are just extra fields that it's easy to get in when you're doing the importing. So this is a CSV file. Basically, all of that means is that each column is delimited by columns, and then there's a carriage return at the end of each line. So it's just a plain text file. When you start up FiberBase, what you'll do is you'll create a shortcut to the import tool. So I'm going to create a new shortcut. And the task that I'm going to choose is called Mass Create. That's this Mass Create wizard. And you can give it a name if you want to, and just hit Finish. And what it does is it creates this shortcut on the desktop then. I'm going to double click that. The object type that we're going to create is a structure. And I'm just going to say that you can use it for creating structures just all straight without importing them, or else you can import them. Today we're going to go through the import of them. So I didn't have any structures that I'm going to start with. I'm going to import the file that we had. So that was in my webinar folder, and it's on structurelist.csv. When I hit next, it shows me all the fields that are in that CSV file, so you can kind of get a look to see what they look like. So here's the same CSV file. with all the data in. The next thing that it's asking me is, these are the columns in the CSV file on the left. You want to align them with the columns in FiberBase. So the text would be the name column. So I'm going to set that up for being the name. Long is the longitude. So I'm going to set that up for being longitude. Lat is latitude. And the street name, I'm going to set that up in as being address 1. So now I've got all the columns with a mapping for where they're going to end up in FiberBase. It tells me that I got 209 structures I'm going to be importing. Hit finish. And it loads them up into this dialog. So here's the names. You'll notice that currently there's no region key. The color is all yellow. The group key is whatever. You've got the longitude and latitude, the elevations filled in, city, county, the zip code, country. Now, any of these columns that I want to change, it's fairly easy to do it. I can either change the whole column at once. So, for example, on the region key, let's say that we're going to put it into a temporary region to start with. So I'm going to select the region, and then I'm going to hit change, and I'm going to create a new region. So we'll just call it temp webinar. Hit finish. Hit OK. Now you've got a region name called for it. Yellow, you can go ahead and change the color if you want to. The group key, again, when you change it, what you might want to do for some of these is change them all to one generic one. And then where you've got, for example, like the pedestals here, you might want to change those to be a specific group. So you can just select a small area of those if you want and change those to pedestal in this case. Hit OK. And then, for example, if you wanted to put in like a description of when you imported it, you could do that. So you could change those and put structure import on November 14th, 18. And it gives that description. Once I'm all ready, I feel like I've got all the items set. I can hit create. And you'll notice that it has an error here. So what I'm going to do is, I've already got these structures already loaded up into FiberBase. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back out of this and just take those structures out so that I don't have to go and change each one. I could change it like this and hit change. But if I have to go and change all those, it's just going to take too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go into my file here and go from Harrisburg down to Effingham. I can just delete those rows. Save it. And then I'm just going to re-import those again. So cancel. Import. And I'm going to set up these columns. So it gives you an idea of how you can work back and forth with your CSV files if you want to. Get the street to address 1. Go ahead and finish. Set up a region. Color, I'm going to leave that this time. Change the groups to structures. And the pedestals. Change those to be pedestals. And go ahead and hit create. Lawrenceburg still doesn't have a unique name, so I'm going to change that. Create. I went and created those. So let's go and take a look and see if what they look like in that temp webinar region. So here's all the structures that I've created. If I wanted to see those on the map, those were all located in the Manhattan area. So if I go here into the Manhattan area, I can query those structures. And what I'm going to do is pick object type structure. And I'm going to first load them down to the results list down here. Make query. And you can see that it loaded in the name, created the structure type, longitude, latitude, the street address, the city, county, zip. So it loaded in all the data for us. I can also load it up to the map if I want to. So I just hit query again. And these are the structures then that were created in that area. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask any questions. Otherwise, that would be it for today. I want to thank you again for watching us. And next webinar will be the mailbag or the open questions on November 28th. If you have a question that was unanswered, email it to FiberBase@fiberoptics.com with mailbag in the subject line. We should have the December topics up by November 21st. So send them in by the 19th. Here are some suggestions for what I thought might be interesting topics: working with transports, working with map layers, shortest path palette, using advanced queries, creating equipment, creating sheets, using the map tools, for example, populating structures with the map, using the map layers, setting direction of browse segment entry points, resetting the lengths of OSP objects using map distances, copying user preferences to another user. Those are just some ideas. Feel free to send your ideas to FiberBase@fiberoptics.com. So again, thank you very much for watching today.